Hi everyone, I am going to be reviewing Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. I particularly like this cover because there's a head upside down, and I think it is very fitting for the book based on what happens in the story. I'm going to give a short summary, not comprehensive by any means. Basically, the setting of the story is in Nigeria, Africa, in the Igbo village, and it follows the life of a character by the name of Okonkwo. Please excuse me if I do not say the name correctly. Follows the life of Okonkwo and his village, and it also traces his family line, his father, and his sons and his wife, and it follows his life. And basically, Okonkwo is a man that is trying very hard not to be like his father, because his father was not respected in the tribal family or in the tribe, and he's trying his very best not to follow in his father's footsteps. So he becomes one of the prize fighters in the village, and he gains a wife, and he becomes very successful in his own right without the help of his father. He has his own farm that he produces and cultivates his land, and he's doing very well for himself. However, misfortune befalls him, and he has to go to another village to live based on the guidance of the oracle. The oracle tells him that he needs to go to another village, and the tribal chief tells him that he needs to go because of what has befallen him. He goes to another village, which is the village of his mother. They welcome him with open arms. He has to start all over again. However, he's there for 7 years, and his father's mother, no, sorry, not his father's mother, his mother's father basically tells him that there's a reason why he's here, and that the mother's family is always accepting of the son, so that he should take advantage of where he is right now. So he bears and grins it, basically, and he's plotting and thinking about when he gets back to his former village, how he's going to reclaim not his fame, but his status, and how things are going to be much different. So while he's in his mother's village, the colonialists come, and they haven't taken over completely, but they're starting to slowly take over, and the village chiefs and the surrounding people are not trustworthy of them. They're just curious of them. Why are they coming here? What is the purpose? And they're thinking in their head they're not very smart, because what ended up happening is they were building on the land that was forbidden. That was where the outcasts of the tribe went, and they're like, well, they must have no sense, because why are they building on this misfortune land? So anyway, they go ahead and build, and people start to slowly convert to Christianity, and the chiefs and everybody in the village is starting to worry. Their families and their sons and are starting to go to Christianity. But the thing that lures them is the fact that a lot of misfortune has also taken them, and they think it's not fair. For example, there is a story of the twins, and how it was taught that the twins had to be killed when they were born, and a lot of families had twins, and they thought it was very unfair, so they basically converted to Christianity. No, I wouldn't say not so much just for that reason, but because of that, I guess, cultural norm at that point in the story. So the white colonialists come, they take over, and things are starting to change little by little. And Okonkwo was starting to hear that, his village is being taken over, and he says, if I go back to my village, this is not going to happen. I'm going to fight for my village, and everything is going to be that it was, and the men in the villages are not strong, and so they need somebody strong like me who's a fighter and knows what to do in those situations. So the 7 years are up. Okonkwo ends up going back to his village. He starts to fight against the colonialists, and basically, I don't want to give the story away, but he loses, and something happens to him. I don't want to give the story away because I hate when other people give the story away. So Anyway, he ends up losing. But I enjoyed this book because it had some themes, okay? 4 themes, I think. Obviously, divination, colonialism, familial relationships, and also internal conflict. So, in terms of the divination, it basically, in the story, they use an oracle to tell them, to guide them on to do in certain life circumstances. And also colonialism. What happens when the white colonists come to take over? What was the difference, before and after they came? And third, familiar relationships. What effect do familiar relationships have on us and our legacy and what we want to leave behind? And also internal conflict. What do we keep and what do we let go of in terms of our familial traditions? So those are just some of the themes that I noticed in this book. And some questions that it brought up. And I wanted to focus on the questions because I feel like that is more important, when you're reading. It's the questions that it leads you to think about. Something that you've never thought about in a particular way before. So one of my first questions was, at what point do we stop holding hard and fast to divination versus using our own instincts? So this question came up all throughout the book for me. The village tribe, they used the oracle for a lot of things, but one of the characters, one of the chiefs, he also questioned the oracle at the time and said, wow, that's the decision that's being made. I don't really see it as fair, but you know what? I'm going to follow it anyway. So the chief was even also questioning the oracle and the guidance that she was given. And basically thinking to himself, that doesn't sound right, but okay, we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. So my second question was giving the negative connotation of colonialism. Okay, is integration really necessary? Yes, and there's going to be a lot of, not really backlash, but a lot of people may disagree with me. But think about all the things that happened once the colonists came into this village. Their life as they knew it turned upside down. Look at the picture. Which is basically what happened. So is integration really necessary? Do we, should we pick and choose who we integrate into our circle, who we bring into our families? And it's something that, we all need to think about. Okay, so my third question was, are familiar relationships catalysts for change or sometimes a hindrance? And I thought of a quote when I thought of this question because, his father, in his opinion, his father was not someone who he looked up to, who he wanted to become. That was a catalyst for him, that helped him to propel to be the man that he wanted to become. But in a sense, it was a hindrance for him because he was trying so hard not to be like his father that there are certain circumstances in the book where, it had a negative impact on his familial relationships. Okay, for example, the relationships with his wives. He was so angry about the relationship with his father, he sometimes took it out on his wife. Okay, and my last question was, what cultural norms do we accept or not accept? Okay, and how do we use those cultural norms to deal with internal conflict? So I thought about the oracle, the chiefs, and Okonkwo. And, Okonkwo, he so wanted to hold on to the cultural and tribal traditions that he ended up doing something to himself in the end that, made me very upset. So at what point do you say, okay, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to let go of this just for my own survival? Very, very difficult question to answer. I can't answer it in one video, but it's just something to think about. Okay, this video is getting real long. So those are just some of my questions for this book. Hopefully I did it justice. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Definitely a read for everyone. makes you question a lot of things, makes you question your own spirituality, your own religion, definitely, culture. So definitely a read. I'm not going to rate it by stars or anything, but because I view reading as something that, helps us to grow and help us to work and helps us to learn. So thanks again for watching, and remember, reading is life-changing. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.